Welcome to my latest video from Pacific Northwest Best Life. I want to talk about the techniques used to hook the steelhead pictured in the photo here. Um, the Skookumchuck has run at incredibly low water levels. You can see from the river level uh, graph here is showing CFS, and normally it runs at 300 to 400 TFS, and as you can see it's down close to 100, and that presents some unique challenges when angling for steelhead. For one thing, they move up much slower through the river system typically, and the stress on them is a lot more as well as the water is harder to navigate. When there's a lot of fish headed back to a hatchery or terminal area, fishing can be steady in low water because you're sort of getting a slow funneling of fish. Versus if we got high water, no doubt the season would immediately be over, as the surge of water would bring up all the fish. What I'm showing here in video is the process of float fishing. As the water level is changing, the depth that we're fishing at is going to change from day to day or week to week as the water continues to drop. Less water generally means shallower conditions, and the fish may hold in different parts of the river. I like to start fishing shallower and gradually increase the depth that I'm fishing by moving my bobber stop further up my main line to fish deeper as I'm discovering where the bottom is and the depth of the drift that I'm fishing. Typically this drift has been 5 to 6 feet deep under normal conditions, so I'll start at maybe 3.5, and then I'll adjust down as I'm fishing, more adjusting down initially, and then maybe a few inches at a time as I'm discovering the depth. As you continue to adjust and go deeper, now the reason why we start shallower and go deeper is fish generally are going to see presentations above them. They see up. They're not going to see things below them, and these fish are typically right on the bottom. And so if you start too low, you may be fishing not where the fish can see it. Additionally, I want to adjust down, and I want to watch my float. And if you've configured the amount of weight to your float rating, like we talked about in the previous video series or video on Skookumchuck steelhead fishing, then your float should be standing perfectly straight when the jig you're using or terminal offering is floating above the bottom. And what will happen when you adjust your depth down and start hitting bottom is your float will start pointing slightly forward. And in really slow water, as what you can see I'm fishing here, it's actually somewhat subtle when it starts to point forward and or kind of stop moving in the case of really slow water. And that tells me that now I'm hitting bottom, and I need to adjust my depth up a few inches, and now I'm fishing right where the fish are. To properly cover a drift, the depths are going to change throughout the drift, and so you may need to cover an area and then repeat the process as you move to a different part of the drift, or even closer to shore or closer to the opposite bank. All of those potentially will change the depth that you're fishing. One of the good things about the Skookumchuck on low water is the color has been really good, so that the fish feel protected. It's only about 2.5 feet of visibility. So even though it's low water, these fish are really aggressive, and it actually really pays to be the first properly presented bait, to these fresh fish that have just moved up. Really helps you get into the fish. In fact, that's how I've seen all of the fish, either mine or others, be caught down here. The last portion of this video shows my steelhead on the bank. Unfortunately, I did not once again get my GoPro on during the period where I hooked the fish and fought it, but I got some video shortly after getting it on the bank.
Today I happen to be the first one down to the drift here, and with the water so low, that's kind of the way this has been. If you can get down here first and get that fresh fish that just moved up the night before, this works pretty good. It's kind of what I've been doing. Pretty simple drill here with the Nightmare jig, 1/8 ounce. From Brad's jigs, a little bit of prawn, tipped on that, and once we got a little enough light, we got decent fishing.